Hi, I'm Lisa Taylor Austin. I'm a licensed psychotherapist in private practice, seeing clients in 7 states. I'm also an expert witness, but I'm here to talk to you today about covert narcissism. Very little is known about covert narcissism, even by mental health professionals. And the reason for that is that covert narcissism itself is not in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual or the DSM. So it's not a diagnosable mental illness. Narcissistic personality disorder is diagnosable, and but covert is not mentioned in the DSM, but it's very real and extremely devastating to the people who are involved with the covert narcissist in their personal or even their professional life. Covert narcissism is sometimes called quiet narcissism or vulnerable narcissism, or it can even be called closet narcissism. It's all the same thing that we're talking about here. And in this video, I'll use the word he to describe the covert. However, please keep in mind, a covert can be a female or someone of another gender or gender identity. Covert narcissists come across as being incredibly shy, humble, polite. They downplay their achievements really because they would like you to adulate them and tell them how wonderful and magnificent and stellar that they are. They have a public image, but then they have their private self. And these two things do not match. The covert narcissist knows what empathy is. He understands it intellectually, but he doesn't feel it in his heart, where most of us would feel empathy. He oftentimes pretends to be empathic, and he can fool you into believing that he really is. But once you become involved with him, you will see a roller coaster because his life is chaos. And he's often very passive aggressive and will use certain techniques to punish you or to teach you a lesson. Those techniques can be control and extreme control, really, about anything. He oftentimes uses the silent treatment, so he doesn't talk to you for days, weeks, months, sometimes even years. If he's upset or angry with you about something you did or didn't do, or something he thinks you did or didn't do. Coverts oftentimes use withholding. So they will withhold attention, affection, caring, money, support, anything that they think that you need or want, they'll withhold it from you. They are dismissive. Your feelings, your opinions don't really matter to him. And they lie, and they lie, and they lie, and they lie. But they're really confabulating, and I'll get to that in a minute. But as what most healthy people would consider, it's lying. Narcissists are users. They are looking to extract from you things that they need. And if you challenge them in any way that concerns them, they can fly into a narcissistic rage. And that rage can be scary. They can break things. They can sometimes become very abusive, but not always. The covert fails to see how his bad behavior affects you because the covert is only concerned about himself. The covert narcissist is extremely stealth. He seems like the good guy. Everybody loves him and tells you actually how lucky you are and how he's so wonderful and you got the best husband or the best boyfriend ever. And oh my gosh, I wish I had a boss like him. However, their abuse is insidious, and only the people who get close to him know what he's really like. It doesn't matter if you, the person on the receiving end, are a doctor, a lawyer, work at Starbucks, work at Walmart, or are even a therapist. The covert can fool you into believing that he is who he wants you to believe that he is. And the reason for that is that he wears a mask. He doesn't present himself as the reality of what he is. He's a chameleon. So he blends into every situation imaginable, but he's able to assess the people there with a laser scrutiny. He knows what other people want, what they desire, and he presents that as himself when that's not who he is. So I want you to think of the covert narcissist walking through his life, and he's walking through a play or a movie. This is how he thinks of it in his mind. Not only is he the producer, the director, and the star of the movie, but you're just a small, insignificant actor, in this. And he moves from scene to scene. And as he moves from scene to scene, his style of dress, his mannerisms, his speech patterns, his emotions, and even his knowledge base shift and change. The shifts are so markedly different. If his family were able to be a fly on the wall and see him at work, they wouldn't recognize him, and vice versa. If his coworkers saw him at home, they would not recognize him. He moves from scene to scene, portraying this false self to each person that he encounters. And he really does not have any empathy for the people. He doesn't feel the way most people feel. He can fool you into thinking he's very empathic, but he isn't. He extracts from you your traits, your emotions, your attention, your adulation, your admiration, and anything else that he desires. You're not a person to him. You're just a reflection of adulation and admiration and adoringness. Usually the covert lose interest in an interpersonal relationship around the 3-month mark. And I talked to quite a few young people who are dating, and they will say that they met this man and he is just the most amazing man they've ever met. And they are so happy. But right around the 3-month mark, he ghosts them. That's not to say that everyone who ghosts is a covert, but it's possible if you're getting ghosted, you might be dealing with a covert. Usually what happens though is they stay in the relationship past this 3-month mark, but you'll see a change. They start to pull back. And that's because they're already grooming another person to take your place. Because they know this relationship will end, and it will. Relationships with coverts don't last. Narcissists have memory loss. They have memory gaps. And as a result of that, they confabulate. So what that means is they draw up a story of probably what happened or what might have happened. And as they draw up this story, they're actually believing this. They're believing that this really happened. So the way that most people would view this is that they're lying, but they believe their lies. The covert creates a memory, an identity, a career where there isn't one. He might be married with children, yet when he meets you, he insists that he's single, even if he's faced with somehow you got his his wedding album and you showed it to him, or his wife is standing right there. He'll keep insisting that he's single. He might tell you that the best place he ever went was to Europe, and he'll tell you all the places he visited and the amazing foods he had, but he's never been there. The confabulation permeates his entire being. So he's doing this with his intimate partners, girlfriend, wife, significant other, but he's also doing this at work, and he's doing this with his friends. However, the covert doesn't really have friends. They just have acquaintances. So in this play of his life, he goes to work and he tells the people at work that he's single and he took his son to basketball practice 2 times a week. When he goes to church, he's the married man with a baby daughter. And at his professional meetings, he's engaged and he's looking forward to starting his new life. You see, nobody really knows who the covert narcissist actually is. And the reason for that is because he doesn't know himself. Because of that, I personally believe that narcissistic personality disorder is the most damaging, destructive, and debilitating mental illness that we know of to date. Coverts leave a path of destruction along their way. Narcissists actually have brain damage. There is dysfunction or damage to the left insula anterior in the brain. And this is the part that we need for emotional empathy, the feeling of the empathy, and also our emotional moral compass. They don't have one. So when you take this brain injury, a child with this brain injury, and couple it with poor parenting that they received, that is a recipe for how to create a narcissist. The partner, the narcissist, the covert, he lies to you. It doesn't matter if you're his wife, his partner, his colleague, his boss. If you're in a relationship with a covert, it can be the most dramatic, destructive, toxic relationship that you will ever be in. And it will be the hardest to leave because a trauma bond has been established. And I'll talk more about that in another video. Coverts are emotionally toddlers, literally. We all need to individuate and separate from our mothers or our primary caretakers around 15 to 22 months of age. And this is where the baby or the child learns that he is a separate person from his mother. He has his own feelings, he realizes he's just a separate person. So the toddler might run away from mommy, turn around, look back at her, and run back. Or this is when we often see the game of peekaboo, because he's kind of like mommy's there, then she's gone, then she's back again. But he can always return to a home base of her. The toddler then has object constancy. Mommy can leave the room. He doesn't see her, but he knows she's still there. Narcissists are known for lacking object constancy or object permanence, which means they struggle to maintain a stable and consistent perception of themselves and other people. And this can lead to unstable relationships and a pattern of idealizing their partners and then devaluing them. Coverts want attention. They want adulation. They want support. They want praise. This is all known as narcissistic supply. It doesn't matter who's giving them the supply. They didn't choose you as an intimate partner because you're the most beautiful or the most intelligent or the most caring or the most empathic. They are the way that they are everywhere that they go because this illness and personality disorder permeates their entire being. So supply is supply. They get it and they're looking for it at home, at work, as they move through the grocery store, at the gas station. It doesn't matter to them. Supply is supply. So in the case of the covert, he either grew up abused or neglected by his primary caretaker, or he was put on a pedestal and treated like a prince. Oftentimes, it's both, where the unhealthy parent is praising and then devaluing the child. And this is where he learns how to put you on the pedestal and then devalue you. So what happens in this covert's childhood is that he never individuates or separates from his mother. The mother might be mentally ill, or she might just be dysfunctional, and she might also be using the child as a stand-in or a replacement for her own husband. So the enmeshment between the covert as a child and his mother is very strong. He never separates from her. And this is where you come in if you're the girlfriend or the wife of a covert. The covert is trying to reenact the separation and individuation process that never happened when he was a toddler with his mother. We know that it's not going to work because that ship has already sailed. He's not a toddler anymore. However, he still seeks to bond with his intimate partner so that he can then separate from her and individuate from her the way he never did with mom. And this is why oftentimes narcissists will start to devalue you and then discard you, because in the discard process, they feel almost a euphoria that they never felt before because they weren't able to individuate with their own mother. Sam Vaknin, who is the former visiting professor at CEOPS and a narcissist himself, explains this in great detail in his video, and I'll put a link in the comments section. This is just an introduction to covert narcissists. I hope this was helpful and shed some light on this very complex topic. Stay tuned for more videos. Like, comment, and share this video to help the channel. And thank you for listening, and see you soon.